My father, he loved me very much, and I loved him. And he played sports with us in our living room with me and my brothers indoors. And he taught me math, he taught me computer programming, many other skills. Then, when I was 15, uh, he tried to kill me. Literally, he tried to throw me down from the seventh floor balcony. And ever since then, I've been trying to make sense. Why do great leaders, great people, make really bad decisions? Think of Elon Musk. He created PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX with phenomenal success. And then he acquired Twitter for $44 billion. He made a binding offer. Then he quickly realized that it was a mistake. He tried to get out from the deal, but the court ruled against him. And by now, the company has lost more than half of its value. So that was a $20 billion mistake. Or Steve Jobs, he created Apple, one of the best companies ever. Then he got cancer, and he had access to the best doctors in the world, best scientifically proved medications and treatments. But he tried to cure his cancer by drinking juice. Literally, he went on a juice diet, and of course, that killed him. So why do great leaders make really bad decisions? And I have studied this question with the best professors from the Harvard Business School and other top universities in the world. I have interviewed hundreds of leaders from companies such as Nokia. And based on this research, I've come to understand that emotions are our worst enemy. They make us ignore details, they make us ignore long-term consequences, complex causal chains, and feedback loops, and hence to make bad decisions. I have personally lost at least 100 million euro because of emotions. When I was in elementary school, I learned to do computer programming. I made computer games. And I copied my game on a school computer. We didn't have the internet back then, of course. And you could play a simple version of the game for free. And when you finished, it prompted, send me $5 and a 3-inch diskette in an envelope, and I will send you the full version. So what did I do? I, of course, saw the opportunity. In mid-90s, the software industry was booming, growing exponentially. So I really focused on coding, founded my own company, and it grew really rapidly. And then I sold it just before the dot-com bubble burst for 100 million. Yeah, right. You know what really happened was that, yeah, I liked coding and I made that game, but I was really passionate about ice hockey. And what I knew back then was that ice hockey players, they go to NHL, they get huge salary, they become superstars, and they have really hot girlfriends. So of course I focused on ice hockey. And I didn't even reply to the people who sent me those diskettes. So emotions, even positive emotions, they cause us to make really bad decisions. But emotions are also our best friend. They tell us what is important, they drive us, they motivate us, they make us committed. And just think about it. We are all here because we have dreams and we really want to develop and we are excited and interested in novel ideas. So emotions are driving our learning and creativity and growth. So the solution is not that you try to remove emotions from your life. Instead, you need to learn to manage them constructively and proactively. So how do you do that? It's not as easy and simple as your average psychologist would tell you. You can meditate all you want, you can talk about your childhood, but that's as effective as trying to win a Formula One race with a bicycle. You need to think bigger. You need to manage the emotions at the organizational level. So if we look at any example of emotions at work, it's a combination of individual emotions and collective emotions. At the individual level, emotions influence our cognitive processing and make us think in a different way. So fear, for instance, makes us desperate. It makes us believe in miracles. We kind of go into this wishful thinking mode. So fear really makes us think different, like Steve Jobs could have said. Or anger and hate, it makes us see things black and white. We see good guys, we see bad guys, and we want to destroy the bad guys and anyone who looks like the bad guys. We ignore risks, we ignore consequences. Just think of Gaza today. So a year ago, Hamas members were desperate and angry, and they killed 1,000 Israelis, not really caring at all about what will happen after that. And now the Israelis are, of course, scared and angry and killing tens of thousands of people. Again, not really caring about the consequences or side effects. So both sides, anger, risk-taking, and fuck the consequences. And in many strategic decisions, you have the same thing. If we go back to Elon Musk, he, of course, has this overconfident personality and lots of hubris in him. But think about him, sitting on a sofa, browsing Twitter, he sees something that he doesn't like, he gets really pissed, and then I'm going to buy this company. He makes the binding offer, and by the time he realized that it was stupid, it's too late, that he was just driven by emotion and then stuck with the negative consequences. But these leaders, they don't operate in a vacuum, but in a reality that they have created around themselves. They have hired people who help them understand what's going on in the world and what they should do. But the problem is that because they are so strong leaders, people are often afraid of them. If you tell the Russian dictator, Vladimir Putin, that it's not a good idea to attack Ukraine, he's going to torture and execute you. In my own research on Nokia, no one was executed, not even tortured, as far as I know. But there was still a lot of fear in the organization. So one vice president told me how a key leader shouted at him in front of 15 other vice presidents so hard that his balls shrank. And Nokia had to develop a response to the iPhone. So top management, they put a lot of pressure on middle management that you need to develop this new phone model that's going to beat Apple. And middle managers, of course, said that yes, we can do that, and reported that, hey, the phone development is going really great. We are going to succeed. It's going to be fantastic. So top managers heard that Nokia is going to beat Apple in no time. And hence, they saw no need to make bigger changes in the organization. And that, of course, was a disaster. The Nokia phones that came out, they sucked. They sucked really bad. And it wasn't just that they were clumsy to use, but you actually couldn't answer a phone call with the most expensive Nokia phone because the software had so many issues. And this happened because Nokia's culture was positive in the same way as it is in North Korea. when the supreme leader visits someone, the people tell him that everything is going great and the strategy is really great. And think about this the next time when your subordinate praises you or your strategy. Or when your child says that they have never watched porn or drank alcohol. So where do these emotions come from? Often it's natural reaction to industry dynamics. So in every industry, you have kind of a stable industry structure, kind of rules of the game. Then occasionally you have a disruption such as new technology, and that changes the rules of the game, meaning that new companies will become winners and old companies will become losers. So industry level, nothing dramatic about this, normal evolution. But from company point of view, it's existential. So the leaders of that initially winning company, they are winners because they have learned to play that game. They have invested their whole life to be best in that game. And then suddenly the disruption comes and makes everything they know outdated and invalid. So of course they feel angry, scared, frustrated, anxious. At other times, the emotions come from choices that the company itself makes, like structural choices. Many companies try to renew so that they have their existing core business and then they create new initiatives on the side. And the idea is that some of those new initiatives might grow big enough and kind of successful and ultimately replace the old dying core business. And from emotional point of view, it's a bit analogical to a kind of marriage situation. You're in a stale marriage, and then you kind of take a lover, and you decide to explore that maybe with this lover I could create a new life for myself and renew my life. It could grow into something big. And for you, that's of course like really fun and great. But from your partner point of view, it's horrible. It's like worst kind of thing that can happen. It makes them feel sad, angry, scared, jealous, everything, all the bad stuff. And people experience these same emotions at work often. And it's completely natural. And we kind of have to accept that these emotions are part of life. But the catch is that if you act on those emotions, if people act on those emotions, they will do a lot of damage. So what can you do? First, listen to your heart. And I mean literally, listen to the heartbeat. So that, because when you're emotionally activated, your heartbeat goes up. So when you can feel your heart racing, you know that, okay, this thing is emotional for me. I'm in an emotional state. And you should not rush into decisions in these kind of moments. Don't rush to decisions when your heart races. Take time, take shower, sleep, whatever. Then second, force yourself and the people in your organization to see the reality. Like I said, I've learned a lot from my dad, and one of the things is the power of evidence. So he was a medical doctor, and some time ago he got some hip pain. And he trusted his expertise, he was confident, and he diagnosed himself and prescribed himself some medication. He didn't take lab results or ask for a second opinion. And that was the biggest and last mistake in his life. So we buried him a couple of months ago. So how do you make people see the evidence, see the reality? In Nokia, after the phone disaster, the new chairman required the CEO to present a slide entitled "What Keeps Me Up at Night" to the board every time they met. And the idea was that in this way they encouraged the CEO to share his worries, what might go wrong, what mistakes he might have made, and they were able to help him in solving those issues. And they were able to deter around any kind of ego-related fears and defenses that the CEO might have. So instead of trying to show that he is perfect in every way, he actually showed his vulnerability. In other firms, the solution has been that they use competitors' products. So often when we have a company, whether we make phones or other electronics or brew beer or provide some, let's say, consulting services, we want to use our own products. But that really narrows our focus on our own activities, and we ignore the bigger reality around us. So the best companies, they don't use their own products. They use the competitors' products only because they want their employees and leaders to every day see the reality and feel the threat that the other companies might impose on them and get inspired by the other companies' innovations. So don't use your own things. Use the competitors' things, whatever business you are in. Third, empathy. So as leaders, we tend to give commands, and when people say that they disagree with us or they get angry at our instructions, we say this is resistance to change and shut up and, I'm smarter than you, so I'm right and you are wrong, do what I told you. But best leaders, they listen to the people, they understand why they are afraid or frustrated, and they validate those emotions. They understand that, they say, I understand that you feel that way, it's okay. And just by showing this empathy and actually being empathic, they learn more about the situation and show the other person that I actually care about you and I can consider your concerns and handle the situation in a way that you won't be damaged. And fourth, undo the decoupling of emotions. So leaders nowadays sometimes understand that you need to manage emotions, but they don't really know how. So then they hire a motivational speaker or someone and they go to a fancy location, sing songs, eat pizza and dance and have fun and laugh and have colorful post-it notes. Then they come back to the workplace and nothing has changed. And that's of course the same as hiring someone else to run instead of you so that you could lose weight. So what I want you to remember is that emotions matter. Emotions are like fire. They give us a lot of energy and they fuel all progress. But if you don't manage them carefully, they will destroy everything. Thank you.